Hey, everybody, Guy here from Chit Chat. Thank you so much for listening. Today, I just got done recording a super fun podcast with my friend Bill Corcoran. Bill is the area director of CBMC, Christian Business Men's Connection. But today we talked all about his role as he's the president of Active Central Minnesota, an organization in town that they put on races and they're trying to help Central Minnesota live an active life. And so they run races and triathlons. And so we got to talk all about that and just kind of big events in general. Bill is a really wonderful dude, one of my favorite guys. And I'm excited for you to hear the podcast now. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bill Corcoran, thanks for coming to join us on the podcast. Really appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Bill, would you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, well, my name is Bill Corcoran, and I do a lot of things, but I'm the president of a local nonprofit called Active Central Minnesota. Yep, and we host 5 annual multi-sport and running events here in Central Minnesota.
You were a name, way before I met you, I had heard your name 100 times. We run in so many of the same spheres. And I mean, I think I'd been asked so many times, have you met Bill Corcoran? You know Bill Corcoran, right? So like before I ever met you, I kind of felt like I knew you a little bit. And I mean, your reputation kind of preceded you in relationship to, the kind of person that you are and the way that you carry yourself, but also just how neat all of these events are with Active Celebrate Minnesota. So for maybe people that don't know about Active Central Minnesota, like what is it that you guys do?
Yeah, we started in 2018, and it was on the heels of a number of years. The number of the events, the Granite Man Triathlon Series I founded the Granite Man Triathlon.
In what year was that?
2003 or 4. And so that grew, and we ended up with the Buffalo Triathlon, the Big Lake Triathlon, all Granite Man events, and then after a number of years, we just decided it'd be better to have all those events be nonprofits. We had gone through. I had founded the Mudman Race, which many people here have either done in the area or certainly heard about, and so it was just time for us to kind of personally go in a different direction professionally, and we wanted the events to live on and not die when I decided I wanted to do something different. So we went to another local gentleman here who's just been a tremendous help, huge blessing, Rick Bowerly at Granite Partners. He had been involved in the triathlons, and Granite certainly had been as a corporate team involved, and so I just went to Rick and asked him to be part of the adventure and for some advice from him, and he jumped right in and helped us form Active Central Minnesota. And so we rolled all the events that we had with the Granite Man events, we rolled them right into Active Central Minnesota. And very shortly, almost at the same time, but very shortly after that, we were contacted by the group that were in charge of the Apple Duathlon. The Apple Duathlon is incidentally the oldest, the longest running multi-sport event in the nation.
Wow.
So it's over 40 years. Started here by
That's crazy.
By some local enthusiasts.
And what are the sports in a duathlon or this duathlon?
Yeah, Apple Duathlon was it's run, bike, run. And it had been a world championships qualifying event. It had been a national qualifying event. A number of times over the years. Pam and Daryl Stevens managed it for years and are still around. They still participate. But since then, we've, just last year, we added a few things. Duathlon nationally has shrunk a little bit. It's had some atrophy. And so we tried to add, just to keep that event around, we added a triathlon to it. So we moved it to the new Sartell High School. We added a triathlon. So now you can run, bike, run, or you can swim, bike, run. We also added
Are you swimming in a pool out there?
Yeah. It's in the spring, so it's a great first-time triathlon because you swim in a pool rather than a lake, and so there's not as much intimidation because you can stand up in the shallow end. Yeah. So no big deal. Yeah, you swim inside, and then literally we open the back doors, and you run out the back doors, get on your bike, and then you go bike and run outside. So it's great. There's very, very few. Indoor, we call it an indoor-outdoor triathlon. Very few of those nationally even.
Where they blend between the two.
The indoor-outdoor, right. Yeah. Most of the time triathlons are, in a lake somewhere, lake or river.
Are they sometimes all indoor? Because you could do a stationary bike. You could run on a treadmill.
Yep. The local, like the YMCA here in St. Cloud, it has in the past run an indoor triathlon in the winter. And some people love them. It's great to do in the winter. But the people that are looking for the experience, they kind of look at the indoor triathlons and like, I don't know. But the Apple Triathlon is it's a great early season training event for those triathletes out there, or first timers that are a little intimidated about getting in the water. That's the thing that people get afraid of, is they get this. They've been told that every triathlon is 1,000 people and you just get clobbered in the swim, and that really isn't the case, because most triathlons, you start with maybe 50 people in a heat, a wave, and so it's not like getting clobbered. Maybe maybe a huge bump a person here or there, but it's not terrible. And certainly in a pool you don't have that, because you're sharing a lane with maybe 3 people.
Yeah.
So very, very newbie friendly. So yeah, and then that event, we call it now the Apple Multisport Festival. So you can also do a relay marathon. We're going to do a really fun relay marathon at that event this year that I think will be cool. And then we have a cycling for the cyclists out there, the people that love biking but do not like running or swimming. We do a team time trial. So some new things we're just trying to, again, we're trying to keep the options out there. If somebody stumbles across a triathlon video or a duathlon video and they're like, man, I'd love to try that. It's great not to have to fly to go do something like that, or drive 6 hours to go do it. These are events that are right here in central Minnesota. So there's opportunities locally to try these things and create hobbies around it and really healthy, active lifestyles around these things. And our goal is to be able to do that here in our backyard, not just somewhere else in the United States.
That's really, really cool. When I want to go back to the different triathlons. So you guys started with Buffalo?
Nope. We started the Granite Man Clearwater Triathlon. Actually was started at Pleasant Lake. So it was on Pleasant Lake. We weren't supposed to be able to have it there at the boat launch, but I got permission from the DNR.
Cool.
And so they let us do it there. We did it there 2 years or 3 years. Then we outgrew that and went to Warner Lake, which is where it's been ever since.
When these other 2 triathlons came in, were they triathlons that were already in existence and you guys took them over, or did you guys start those in the different communities?
Yeah, the Big Lake Triathlon we started.
Okay.
I had acquired sort of. Somebody didn't want to run the Paynesville Triathlon anymore, and it was great, but it just wasn't growing. There was a monster hill in that race around that lake, and it just, people were terrified of that hill. So
did you bike it or run it?
That was a biking hill. Okay. Yeah, it was just brutal. I thought it was awesome because I was in the sphere, like this mental space of I just want
pain.
Yes, I love torturing people. Yeah. Right. This is how Mudman came to be. So, but it wasn't popular, and so it wasn't. We lost too much money on it. So we shut down the Paynesville Triathlon and went. I had driven past Big Lake so many times on Highway 10, and I always looked at it and I thought that was a perfect place for triathlon. I can't believe nobody's doing a triathlon there. And when we shut down the Paynesville Triathlon, we the next year we started the Big Lake Triathlon, and that has become, I think, our crowd favorite. It's just an awesome venue.
Yeah.
Great beach, great, it's just an awesome course. So that one we started, and the Buffalo Triathlon had been running. That started the same year that our Granite Man Clearwater started. So it was founded about the same year, but we ended up purchasing that while it was still a for-profit, and took that over. I think 2010, something like that. So.
Would you, for those that don't know, what is a Mudman? Tell us a little bit about that race and just kind of like higher picture, like about races like that incorporate so many different kinds of disciplines and activities. Yeah.
So Mudman was a military style obstacle course. That's kind of that whole. There was a basket of Tough Mudder and Warrior Dash. There was all sorts of. It was this huge period of time where every time you went online, there was another race. And so, we were amongst that. We never went national or anything like that. We had events in Fargo, Duluth at Spirit Mountain, and then here at Kimball. So really it was about trying to put together a series of obstacles, challenges that not only would be hard for an individual to get over, but sometimes you would need help and you couldn't get over them by yourself. We decided with Mudman, all of our obstacles you could do by yourself. But we had a goal that we wanted to create a 5K that even the most fit human, right? We would try and line up the fastest. Normally on a 5K they'd be 15-minute guys, and our goal was not to build a course that they could finish in faster than 30 minutes. So we really wanted to torture these guys, and it was really about just making it challenging, but also making it fun. So it was hard for the people that really wanted to push themselves. We thought through just every aspect of the race course, trying to think of how could we make sure that this was not going to be easy getting through this, but also not so hard that they couldn't, because you go too hard and then you lose a bunch of people, as far as how challenging it is. It was also, we found out, mostly, like office parties. It ended up being kind of a bar bet for a lot of people, that they were there. They weren't runners. They were just, somebody had said we should do this, and they were like, oh, well, sure, And then
2 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it would take an hour and a half sometimes for people to get through this, just a 5K. So, but it was a blast. They had mud in every nook and cranny, and it was great.
I've heard about some, maybe it was yours, where there was like electricity involved. Did you guys ever have any of that?
We never did that. No, we tried to build all of our obstacles and come up with creative ways to make things. Some people are afraid of heights, and so we want to make things high, but not so high, not actually dangerous.
Yeah.
It was really the illusion of danger. Things would be hard, but not dangerous, not really dangerous. So. We didn't go all the way to electricity, or we'd jump over fire, but we were really careful about any of the water that we'd have people go into, that it wasn't going to be deep. Anytime it did, we just kind of change the obstacle, and
One of the events and races that you guys run that maybe people would have heard of is the Earth Day Half Marathon. At Switchboard, we got to, work with you guys and shoot a video at one point, and it's such a super fun event. Would you just tell us a little bit about that event? It's kind of the first big race of the season in Minnesota. Is that true?
It is. It's early for sure. It's in April, usually around Earth Day. Earth Day is a moving target sometimes, so is Easter. So it's usually the second or third weekend in April. And it's been going now 25 plus years. Chris Hocus was part of the group that started it. St. Cloud State started it with her help, and it's just been such a great event. Running event. It's one of the only large format running events, half marathon, 5K in central Minnesota. So it's but it's been great. We kind of came on board post 2020, post COVID. I've been helping on and off over the years. My first involvement was as a volunteer coordinator. I don't know, probably 2014 or somewhere in those years. All the way through just kind of backside support, and then once COVID hit, Centricare had ended up kind of owning the event and managing it, and they had their hands full with this thing that we all remember as COVID. We're all trying to forget it, and so they were just busy with doing that stuff, and they had put it on the shelf and needed to focus on other things, and we really we didn't want that event to die just because COVID was doing its thing, and so we volunteered. We approached Centricare and said, hey, we would love to help however we can. This is what we do, and so they said this sounds good. Well, let's partner. So we're still helping and working with Centricare. They're a great partner, and really Earth Day is all about community health, community wellness. Our goal, and this is Active Central Minnesota's goal, really, is to just create more and more opportunities outside of just running, right? Because not everybody loves to run. We want to expand the opportunities, the ways that people can get active, and so we're looking for more opportunities in biking or even winter sports. We're excited about some of the things that are happening in the mountain bike world. Right? We're all mountain bikers here, and that's kind of a new passion for me because I was a road cyclist. My whole the last 25 years. So there's some really fun things, really exciting things that could be coming down the pipeline here with some of the off-road stuff.
That's really fun.
Yeah. So, and again, those are, once we have some infrastructure, we come in and say, hey, we know events. Like this is something we can really help with.
Yeah.
And so once we get some resources and some infrastructure for things like mountain bike trails, then there's some great opportunity to get a lot of people involved and having fun on bikes. Kayaking, there's some great, there's something like Clearwater's Outfitting does such a great job, with getting people out on boats. But there's a lot of people that have never experienced just going out paddling, and so we'd love to do some different things, different events that are really difficult to stand on their own. Events really don't make money. I learned that the hard way. But they give people an opportunity to, just experience a lot of different things and have fun while being active.
Yeah. We've been running Cloud Coffee Fest now we've done 3 years. We're heading into year 4. And, over the last handful of years, as we have bumped into like hurdles, like, ooh, this is a challenge. How do we navigate that? You have been so helpful. Even though you've never run a coffee festival before, like, it doesn't really matter. I think when you're in relationship to events, it's just there's a whole bunch of people here. How do you move people and take care of people and make sure that the kinds of amenities and things there to like handle that large of a crowd, that those things are in place? And so Bill has been super, super helpful and gracious in helping us kind of navigate early stages of running our first kind of like large scale event. So I'm thankful that you've taken your expertise gained over years and years of running big events for our stuff. So
it's been fun. It's been fun to watch for sure the Coffee Fest just develop and grow. And I think I have fun. It's a bit of a sickness. If you'd ask my wife, there's a number of times she just has to look at me.
Except she's looped in now.
She is now. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. But yes, she's been pretty good at trying to keep a lid on me looking at. I have and she knows it. I have a list of events that I'm like, oh, we could totally do this. Like we're ready to go.
Yeah.
As soon as they just give me the word and we're ready to go.
Yeah.
But I've got to be real careful because it's not what I do for a living anymore. So it's just fun.
Earth Day is coming up in the next, coming up here pretty soon. There's still time for people to register and to get involved. If I have never run a half marathon before, are there other options for me in relationship to Earth Day?
Oh, absolutely. That's the great thing about Earth Day is there's a lot of entry points, a lot of you can do the 5K, and the 5K it's a run walk. We really want to encourage more and more people to just don't be intimidated by the distance or that you have to run it. There's a lot of people that just walk, a lot of strollers and things like that. So you can walk the 5K. You could technically walk the half marathon. You might not. We have a time cap. So you might not beat the time cap if you're walking. But you could split it. There's a relay, so you don't even have to. You could just do half of it. Yeah. So you find a partner that also maybe isn't ready for the full half marathon, but you do the first half, or they do the first half, and then you do the second half, and it's great. That's fun because we really treat. We almost have 2 finish lines. So even the first person that runs, they get to the halfway point, and there's a full finish line out there, music really playing, fun. They get a medal. And so we try and make it fun for everybody. And if you're running a half marathon, whether you're doing the relay or not, or the full thing, we've got like 5 cheer zones going on out there. So there's groups out there that are literally they're trying to win a contest on who can do who's got the most energy and the best cheering. And you get to, as a runner, you get to vote on that. Yeah. So it makes it a lot of fun. Yeah. So anything from the 5K, we've got a 1K kids run. It's all downtown. So even though the course spreads out throughout St. Cloud, it's a downtown feel. You get that ticker tape finish line kind of coming in downtown. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think the ending of it is really fun. Like, I mean, photographing it, all the runners running down West Saint Germain. It's kind of like the beginning of the final stretch is basically at the Paramount, and then it ends in front of First National Bank building, kind of like the intersection right by the convention center. Yep. And so that that full corridor is blocked off and having people run down. It's super, super fun feel. Yeah, and we've made some changes. It's great if in April it's going to be sunny, right? If it's going to be warm, that's great. It's some years you could have a really nice warm run and your finish line would be more like a spring day. But there are plenty of years where it's still cold, and so it can snow. So we've adjusted our finish line now. So you'll actually come across Fifth Avenue, and our finish line is directly in front of the convention center. So as soon as you come across the finish line, you turn, and we guide you right back into the doors. And so the finish line party, all the water, all the beverages, that's inside now.
Oh, that's great.
Because otherwise you're just cold very quickly. And so now you go inside, the band's playing, the stuff that's going on inside is just strictly for the runners. It's a lot of fun. And we don't care as much. It's great if it's not snowing, but it's almost kind of nostalgic if it is, because you just get to run in the snow and then back inside. So
that's great. And there's so many opportunities probably for people to even if you're not a runner, there are probably opportunities to get involved. There's the do you call it Fitness Expo? What's the Health Expo?
Yeah. So for years it's been a health and wellness expo, and this is one of the things that's going to be new this year. Is this is a great event if you're a runner, but if you're not a runner, which there's a lot of people that are like, running? No, thank you. So we want to think, again, bigger than just running. So the expo this year is going to be very similar. There's going to be vendors, and there's going to be booths and stuff like that. So great health and wellness things. But it's going to be the Earth Day Health and Fitness Festival. Because inside, we're also going to have, all the booths that the runners can go see are going to be there. But we're going to have 5 we're going to call them fitness partners, and each one of them will be kind of hosting or offering a fitness challenge. Yeah. And these will be really friendly, well thought out, functional fitness stuff. There's not going to be any barbells or nothing like that. This would be things that anybody that's stepped foot in a fitness center, any time within the last year could show up and do this. And it might be a simple, hey, you're going to row for 2 minutes, or you're going to do this thing for 2 minutes, or give this a try. And so it'll be these good, fun fitness challenges. And as they go around and do these, there'll be a passport. They're going to have a little punch card, put their name on it, and so they'll be eligible for the door prizes. Yeah. And we're going to be giving away 1 year membership and just things that they want to give away, but also some other door prizes.
That's cool.
And so it should be a lot of fun. Our hope is that there's just a ton of people out there that they love after work, going to work, hit their workout, and they do that because they know it's good for them, and they want to they're working on their hot bod or whatever, their goals, their fitness goals. But I don't know that they don't really know how fun fitness can be. Yeah. And so those of us,
how fun the fitness community can be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And so to give them an experience where they're doing some stuff like that, and people are cheering, and they're just trying to, see how many meters they can row in 2 minutes, or just something simple that they do all the time. I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to experience how fun fitness can be. And so we're going to try and at least do that, and make that a part of the Earth Day, Fitness Festival, and see if we can come up with some other ideas in the future.
So even if you're not a runner, you should go and check out the Earth Day Half Marathon and all of the kind of the fun festival stuff that happens that day too.
Yeah, I would even say, especially if you're not a runner, because the runners are going to, we're going to put 2,000 or 3,000 runners there anyway. Yep. The runners already come, and again, we're trying to continue to make so many things changed after COVID, and I think the running community doesn't really, they haven't really understood how different it is running events. So many vendors just went away. And so when we tried to start that event back up, we went back to the partners that had been involved in the past. And, they just had a hard time covering that event in the past. And with COVID being short on employees and being able to cover their own stores and things like that, they just weren't able to come and do these extra things. And so, we've been trying to rebuild what was a really large expo with just fewer people that want to participate. And so we're hoping that the runners will keep coming, but really we're hoping to expand and see a lot of non-runners come, because I think not only can they experience having fun doing fitness, the things they do every time they go to the Y or Crunch Fitness or wherever they're going to go, but they also might look at these runners and watch them crossing the finish line and see the energy that Earth Day is, and be like, hey, I don't know, maybe I want to try that 5K.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't done that, or I did it when I was a kid, but I haven't done one since I was little. So,
Bill, thanks for coming on. It was, I'm thankful for you in so many ways, and just appreciative of how you are willing to share of your time and your expertise in so many ways. It's been fun to watch you plug in to Active Central Minnesota, and I'm excited to see what comes of especially Earth Day. That's just it's such a fun event, and super, super cool. So if you are a runner, make sure to sign up. If you're not a runner, you should think about starting to train a little bit and maybe sign up anyway.
Yeah.
Because you can even walk, grab some friends, grab a fun little community. It could be people that you work with, your family, and go and participate in that because it's a really, really, really fun event.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and if you're looking for where to find information on that, you can find your information on the Earth Day run at activecentralmn.org.
Well, sweet. Bill, we close every episode with an unpaid ad. Who or what do you think deserves a little shout out today?
Yeah, I have had I come across a lot of neat businesses and things, and I do a lot of events both for Active Central and the other organization that I work for. More recently, I was able to send some sponsors. I always looking for ways to thank sponsors.
Yeah,
and I came across. Maybe some people already knew this clearly because they're a very successful business here in town. A place called Cookie Advantage, and I thought, well, they're just cookies. Actually, what happened is we bought a vehicle from a local dealership, Granite City Motors, and we got this box a few weeks later, and it was just a thank you box, and it had a couple mugs in it, and had these fresh cookies, and they were amazing cookies. And it's just this really nice thank you. And I thought, that's awesome. And so I reached out to Cookie Advantage. I got to meet the owner, Mike. And I mean, they just did such an amazing job. And they do all the stuff. Like he asked for artwork because I was, like a lot of people, I was kind of running it tight on schedule.
Yep.
And I gave him artwork on Tuesday night. I picked up all 25 of my boxes on Wednesday morning.
Sweet.
And they had customized mugs.
Yep.
Customized the box. It was phenomenal. Yeah. I was blown away by this local business called Cookie Advantage that just knocked it out of the park. And our sponsors loved it. It was simple, inexpensive, but just awesome. And so they deserve some love.
That's cool. My unpaid ad for the day, just even realize, CBMC. Bill's day job is as the executive director of CBMC, Christian Business Men's Connection. Really incredible organization. You should go and check them out. Bill hosts all kinds of, believe it or not, fun and great events there as well. One of them, it was the mayor's prayer breakfast, now called the leader's prayer breakfast. Which just happened this past fall, or happens every fall. But go check out what Bill does over there. But Bill, I'm really thankful. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.